And why is the coconino important? It's important because the naturalists basically made it important because they said, hey, this is deposited as sand dunes. It took 5 to 10 million years to blow in all that sand. But what we're going to look at tonight is 13 different reasons we know the coconino is deposited in water. Wayne admitted that he never measured it. When I told him I was getting different angles, he said, well, it must be because you don't know how to measure it. And you can see that the coconino is poorly sorted. The third myth is that the coconino is well-rounded. They're not well-rounded at all. And it looks like acid etching, not like sandblast type of etching. We believe those are actually formed by air bubbles, that gases are being released from chemical reaction down in the earth, and they are bubbling up because the sediments are still very soft and they can bubble up through the sediments. And you'll notice the long arrow shows the direction the tracks are going. The short arrow shows the direction the feet are pointing. It looks like something is pushing this thing from the left. So how does a big rock get in the middle of the coconino? Wind cannot blow it in, but water could transport it in. Water has the power to do that. Dolomite in general is a huge, huge problem for the naturalist, because throughout the geological record, we find layers of dolomite, some of them quite large. Dolomite is a chemical reaction of magnesium with limestone, and it only can chemically react and make dolomite when the water temperature is well above 100 degrees. It is a marine deposit. The naturalists will agree to that. The naturalists acknowledge that it takes a high temperature, but just consider it insignificant and, well, we just won't talk about it. That injectite is actually coconino material down into a opening that occurred in the Hermit. True avalanches are not found in the coconino, which means it probably never was exposed to wind. How would you get localized calcite cement in the middle of a sand dune? You can't. But if water was flowing and it happened to go through an area where it picked up some material for limestone, some calcite, and then deposited it in that sand matrix, it's going to be there. It can harden and make a very tough area in the coconino. The top one is a 5-meter tall, beautifully formed type 1 parabolic fold. The second one is a type 2 fold, and you're looking at about 1 meter of height in that one. But we have these nice folds that are only found in sand waves, not found in sand dunes. The layer on top is flat. Something has changed in the flow regime, so it's gone from cross-bedding to flat-bedded. In Sedona, there's one place on Bear Mountain in the Coconino where it is checkerboard from the bottom to the top, 500 feet vertical of checkerboarding. And here you can actually walk on it. You can see those vertical slits as well as horizontal slits. And notice where the green arrow is pointing. That is pointing to a water escape feature also, only this time it's a water pipe. And that's the way we usually find them, is in water pipes. And if you look closely, you'll see that there's actually quite a few of those water pipes in the Coconino here. Earthquake has moved a lot of water through there and really messed up the strata. And it was all underground when that occurred. This is before erosion occurred to haul away the sediments that were hiding this from our view. Desiccation occurs usually in a mudstone, something that has a lot of clay-sized particles in it. It's where, as the material dried out, it shrunk and it leaves these cracks. He put it in this pickle jar, put a propeller up at the top to blow the sand around, and in 4 days, he could not find any muscovite. It had been ground down so fine that you couldn't find it in just 4 days. So it doesn't sound like these flakes could be transported in air very well. Well, what about water? He used the same pickle jar, put water in there with coconino that was ground up just like before, and after a year could still find small muscovite flakes in there, which tells us that the coconino was transported in water.
Why are they so dead set against it forming underwater?
Because they would then have to admit that we were correct and they weren't,